Hello, Mr. Tolua. That excuse is not acceptable, please.
Who is that? Who's
This
that?
is yes,
Is that Esther?
yes. This is Esther. Yes, it's not acceptable.
We have to allow you guys, so just have at it, enjoy yourselves. We'll be here, you know, protecting you guys.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I believe we do get the links to the slides. From the slides, I believe we all do get the link and can review the slide. That's why I keep sharing the slides in the chat. So you have multiple guidance, be it the documents, from the notes, the videos, and the slides. Okay. Oh, so why is the class quite empty today? Let's see, we just have one, two, let's say 1, 2, 3.
Francis, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Something has been bothering me about this class, and it's the fact that I attend classes and I forget to fill the attendance. Sometimes, probably due to network, I cut off, and then by the time I'm back, I don't have access to the attendance form that was dropped in the comment section. If I as I now, I've given up on filling it because I think I filled only one or two. But for the past 3 to 4 classes now, I've not been filling them, and it's been bothering me. So I tried, reaching out to my, I think, relationship officer, if I'm correct, but I've not been
Okay.
able to get to her. It's bothering me because I hope I won't be penalized for not filling my attendance forms.
Okay. What's the name of your relationship officer? Do you know her
Eva,
name?
Eva.
Eva. All right. All right. I'm going to reach out to her and have her address that. And regarding that, let me just put this out there to everyone. Attendance is very, very much important here. And I understand the fact that we all are having a busy day, busy schedules and everything. And we feel we want to go through the videos and the recordings to learn on our own, at our own self-pace. I understand that. But there is something that differentiates what we are having here from you just watching random videos on YouTube. Because if you just saying you want to go through the videos, it's still the same thing as you watching, taking courses on YouTube. We're having a live section, and that live section has to be interactive. You come on board, you engage with others, you ask, you get that platform where you ask questions, you drop what the ideas you get to communicate, have a one-on-one conversation with the mentor, with the instructor, and you be in that classroom environment, which is something the recordings would not give to you. So for that, I'm restructuring the environment at which we'll be working. So today we'll be working in groups. I believe you all are in a particular WhatsApp group. Am I correct? I think the student should have their WhatsApp group. Yeah. So what we are going to do is this. Hopefully before the end of this class, when we have more students on board, I'm going to group everyone and we are going to work as a team. Now, the main purpose of we working as a team is to build collaboration among one another This is something you need to also learn. It's a soft skill called cross-functional collaboration. So if you're paired up in a team of 4 or 5, and you're able to maintain this communication with your team, when you get to the real workspace, having this collaboration with other teams from designers, engineers, front end, back end, stakeholders wouldn't be an issue for you, because you've been groomed with such environments where you communicate collaboratively with a team. So after today's class, today's assignment will be based on that structure. So I would leave this to the end of today's class, where we'll talk about that. I see we have some new persons joining us. Okay, I can see. I saw Norma here, and I don't know. Norma, yeah, I can see Norma here. Can you unmute and introduce yourself?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening. So, my name is Enoma Ibude. So that is there any other information?
Okay. You tell us, have you been in the product field, or is it your first time being in the product management field?
Yes, this is my first time being in the product management field.
Okay. Okay, it's good to have you here. You're lucky we've not gone too far, though we are still on the basic foundational topics, so you can still catch up on the courses and the programs you have posted on the portal. I believe you all have seen that the videos have been uploaded. All videos have been uploaded, and the curriculum as well has been updated. How many of us noticed that? So you guys don't go through your portal.
The portal is complex. When you're watching videos, you cannot skip. You have to watch from the beginning to the end. Is that deliberate?
No, that has been updated. Now you have we got the feedback from users with regards to that, and that has been updated. So
Oh, really? Okay.
you can now fast forward, considering so you see, it's more like you doing research. In as much as this structure is in place, we still get feedback from the student on how to better serve you guys. So you see, in everything you do, there's always a product manager in everything we do. So we're going to jump into what we have for today. We've talked about introduction to what product and project management is all about. We've also talked about project and product life cycle. So today, from the analysis of what we did in the assignment, I decided to restructure the whole curriculum to fit in, whereby you start with something new, which is product thinking. As a product manager, how do you think? We'll be looking into that today. Can everyone see my slide? All right. Please ignore the background of all those white background. Just focus on the slide. Let me just zoom in. So, product thinking. What is product thinking all about? This is what it involves. You think problems before futures. Think problems before futures. Now, I believe you guys will be wondering, why do I always keep falling back to problems, understanding the problems, understanding the problems? And this is so because if you don't understand the problem which you want to solve, you can't solve that problem. You've not earned the right to solve that problem. So product managers are problem solvers. You think about the problem, you think of a way to solve them. First of all, you need to think in terms of the problem. Think in terms of the problem. Think problems before thinking futures. But what most product managers now do is they just jump right into the futures. What's the functionality going to look like? What features should we add to this thing? Which is almost what you guys did during your presentation. I noticed most of you were just shipping out features, what your product will look like, this is what it would have in your product. Your product will be doing this, it will be doing that, it will be doing this. Which made me realize that you guys haven't really understood the problem you intend solving. So we'll start with the product thinking. How do you think like a professional product manager? What is your way of thinking? Which is why we are starting from what product thinking is all about. So at the end of this class, we should understand the mindset behind product thinking, know why product thinking is better than building futures, learn how real PMs apply product thinking in real products. Then we should be able to start thinking like a problem solver and not a future shipper. So at the end of this class, you all will have to revisit your assignments, your day one assignments, and now you look at it from a different lens as a problem solver and not a future shipper, where you want to ship out beautiful and awesome futures. You guys were just giving me very amazing futures. I want it to be this, my product to be this. Some of you were even very realistic. This is what my product will be doing. This is the solution. My product will be a competition to. So this would help us today, would help us understand how we should think aright like a product manager. So let's dive in. What is product thinking? From here, you see, product thinking means focusing on the problem first, not the solution. This is just a direct definition of what product thinking is all about. You thinking about the problem, focusing on the problem, user's problem first, before thinking of any solution, be it solution or futures. Before thinking of any solution, you focus on the problem first. It's just like you meditate on the problem to make sure that you totally understand the problem. When you fully understand the problem and you're able to interpret the problem in different languages, which means you can translate it. If you're using, you want to use your, let's say, for example, you identify the problem using English language, you can translate that same problem in Pidgin language. You can translate that same problem in Igbo language. You can do the same thing in Yoruba, Hausa language, and that same problem will still remain, the content of that problem will still remain the same, and it will not change. That means you totally understood what the problem is, and you can rewrite the problem in different languages, then you can say, now I understand what this problem is all about. And when you understand what the problem is all about, you can now understand what structure of solution will you be putting out there. Are you guys getting me? Please, you guys should be giving me the thumbs up or the like, so I know that I'm still connected in the class. All right. Thank you. So product thinking is just a way great product managers use. It's a thinking faculty or a way of thinking that great product managers use to ensure they build product that solves real and relevant real users' problem. And in doing this, you need to ask yourself this question in order to identify, fully understand what the problem you are talking about. You need to ask yourself this question: who has this problem? What is the pain point? What was the user's pain point experiencing this problem that I have identified? Why solve it now? Why is it important that I solve this problem now? And what impact will solving the problem have? What impact will it create? If you can provide answers to these questions, if you can properly provide real answers to this question, it would help you understand the problem which you are aiming, you've identified. If you can identify who has this problem, who are the users experiencing this problem, what is their demography to the people experiencing this problem? Is this problem basically for male? Is this problem for female? So there are products like that that are gender-based. We have a product like Flow. We have Flow, FLO. For the ladies, they know about it. The product is useless to men. It's useless, but that doesn't mean it is not useful. It's useful to female. Now, they identify the product managers or the product owners of Flow identify that the problem is most ladies do not have proper calculation of their flow, or they make mistake in keeping proper account of it. And they looked at it. Let's make our research. Do most ladies experience this problem? So first, they've already answered this question: who has the problem? For Flow app, they identified it's the female gender. That has been solved. Now, what's the pain point? The pain point for Flow is the female gender miscounts on their monthly flow. It can be twisted in another way, whereby they don't have proper calculation of it. I don't know if you guys are getting me. So they might see this day and they feel it's coming out this other day. Maybe it came out on the 5th of June, and they might feel, okay, it's coming out on the 6th, and it ends up coming out on the 17th or on the 18th, and they start feeling so bad. So this poses some problem, whereby there are some ladies who keep proper account of it. Yeah, they are very good at that. You find out that Flow app does not, they don't see any need for it if they already have their existing structure of how they do their calculations. So the problem identified its users, female genders, that are experiencing issues in keeping proper documentation of their monthly flow. You see the way the problem, who has the problem has been structured and narrowed down, because they know The female, there are also some sections in the female genders that don't experience it at all. From age 60 to age upward, I think that it should be age 50 if I'm not mistaken, if I'm correct, from 50 upwards, this product would be useless to them because they've gotten to menopause and all that. So they don't get to experience such thing. They don't need such solution. So now they look at young ladies from 18, while you see some start seeing their flows from 15 and all that. And this creates some kind of issues and disturbance among the female gender. So they identify the users that are experiencing this problem. And they also took note of the pain points. How do I calculate this? How do I expect? And this thing helps you when you input all the necessary data in it. It helps you keep proper documentation. Okay, this is when you are safe. This is when you're free. You should be expecting it this day. And when you expect it, when you're supposed to expect it in 5 days and you get it in 2 days, the algorithm adjusts itself to align with, okay, since it has changed this month, this is what it would affect the other months. It's the structure of the solution. And they looked at why solving it now, why should we solve this? Now they looked at, we have this issue and it's a pressing issue among a certain number of users. And they looked at the market. You have females who are actually facing these things. And they look, it's a good time to solve. And why? What other best time is there to solve this thing, if not now? And they kickstart with it. And they ask, what impact will this create? What's the importance of solving this problem? Now they notice that if we can solve this problem, we can help our affected users keep proper documentation of their monthly flow. Now this takes away the anxiety, the stress. Oh, I missed it, I didn't see this there. Oh, you should. It takes away those worries from the users and helps them keep themselves in order, and also helps the user stay organized. You can see the way this product, which I've just made an illustration with, actually checked out these questions. That's the same way your problems you've identified should also check out these questions. Like Martin Kagan says, fall in love with the problem and not the solution. When you understand the problem, the solution would definitely erupt. When you're able to check out all these questions, you will now identify the pain points of the users, and that is what you will target at solving first. Why do product thinking matters? Now, there's one thing about it is most products fail. It's not because they don't have great features or whatsoever. Most products fail because they solve the wrong problem. And when you are solving the wrong problem, you are not going to be of any value to the market. And why do people end up solving the wrong problem? Because they don't think in terms of users. Why most product managers fail? They solve the wrong problem. They don't ask the right questions. They don't ask questions that would help them understand the user's perspective of that problem. What they just ship out is to just get compliments. Wow, that product is good. It's going to scale. It's going to. We all should be very, very watchful of compliments. When you are doing research, be very mindful of compliments, because when you ask people for your feedback, be very mindful of where you ask yourself, what's the motive behind this? Because when you tell people your idea without understanding the problem, and when we pitch ideas to users, we first of all sell out the idea. That's a very wrong approach. Because when you sell out the idea, you've already led the user to follow up. Okay, this is what you should do. So definitely when you sell out the idea, the user would not even think about it, but to give you, oh, that's a good idea. Very good. This thing will sell. When you launch, you let me know. And you think that is a very good response. I have this person, this user has checked, this thing is a good idea, approval. All what those users have given to you are just compliments. They've not given you facts. And you don't build products on compliments. If you do that, you would eventually fail. That's why most products fail. They build solutions for wrong problems. And how do they generate those wrong problems? From compliments, which users, yeah, we'll build this thing, this now, if you do it this way, to get. You need to be very, very sensitive when you are getting feedbacks from users. You need to understand the motive behind every feedback given by the users. You need to always ask why. Why do you want this? You asking why is not because you do not understand what the user have said, but because you want to understand the motive behind what the user have said. Are they just saying it because they just want to say things to keep me, let me have butterflies in my stomach or make me feel proud of myself? Or are they saying it because they are actually experiencing that problem and they feel that the solution the idea which I've shared with them would actually solve that problem for them? So you need to be always sensitive when you carrying out research from users. You need to always know what's the motive behind this, what's the motivation, what's the empathy behind this response this user has given to me. That will guide you on structuring the scope of the product you're working on. So product thinking helps PMs avoid wasted time and money. It helps you focus on outcome. It helps you focus more on users' outcome that is users' impact than output. Product thinking also helps you build real value solutions that will be valuable to the users. Now, we can have a real life example. Let's say, just imagine you are the product manager in a team which has been assigned to build an app, a mobile app, let's say an e-learning app. And first, you could have some product manager in such team. And the first thing they will tell you, they start talking in terms of futures. You're building it. Let's have this kind of board. Let's have this let's build a future that will give whiteboard future or pink board future to beautify this, so the class will be looking very beautiful. Let's use this. Let's have this button whereby students can comment as the lectures are going on, or let's have this AI that will be writing notes for the student and all that. All those things are features. They are very good. But is that the actual approach to take as a product manager? No. If you want to be a successful product manager, you should skip the future thinking and think in terms of products. But when you bring a product-driven product manager who thinks in terms of the users and the product, what the product manager will look at is, okay, I've gone through the data and I've noticed that students are dropping off after week 2. 50% of the students dropped off after week 2 of the class. 30% dropped off after week 3. There is a problem. Why are students Deborah, your mic is unmuted. Then you start asking yourself questions. Why are students dropping off from the class after several weeks? Is there something wrong? Is there something wrong with the class? Is the tutor not teaching very well? Are students getting bored of the class? What is going on? Why? Then you start looking into, you start asking yourself questions. Why do students keep dropping off? Now you are not talking about what future to build to retain the student, because we need to know and understand why are students not engaging, why are they not staying, being retained in the class. That is where a product thinking product manager starts from. Then when you identify the problem, you will now look at how can we help the students stay motivated during the class. What do we need to do? Do we need to change the instructor? Do we need to build a system that would be learning friendly? Do we need to set up some kind of application or user stuff to just keep the students motivated during the class and have them stay throughout the section for the class? This is what you start thinking. This is what start running through your mind as a product thinking product manager. And not just all about you shipping out one product. I need to ship out this feature. We need to do this and some heavy features that doesn't really count. Features are good, but you don't start with features. You don't build future first. You start with the problem. Think problem first. When you think about the problem, building the future to solve that problem becomes easier. So let's now look at the differences between product thinking and future thinking. Now, as a future thinking PM, what they are basically after is shipping out, build shiny tools, build shiny features and all that. Very robust features where you can drag. Do you know how long I spent? Do you know the kind of thinking I had to do to set up this kind of functionality? That's the major thing they are always after. Getting these big, robust things. I was the one that cracked this puzzle. See the way I did it. Look at what I did. I had to spend hours thinking. But actually, does that really matter in the marketplace? Regardless of how many hours you spend, that doesn't mean the product will sell. That doesn't mean users will buy the product, irrespective of how complex and robust the solution you've built is. If it doesn't solve the user's key pain points, that product will be useless in the marketplace, and you eventually find that product die off after a certain period of time. So as a product thinking PM, you think in terms of solving the actual problem of the users. It all boils down to you having the users in mind. You think about the users first. When you identify a problem, you look in terms of the users. That's the best way to build products. You look in terms of the users because the users are the ones that will make use of the solution you've built. You might not even end up using itself. Let's be very honest with ourselves. You, the developer, you, the product owner, you might end up not using it, the solution you've built. You might be using other products, but the users who will be using your solution on a daily basis, you are building a product and you are not having them in mind, building something that suits their interest, that solves their problem, and you expect them to have a buy-in on what you've built. If that's not possible, so if you want users to get easy buy-in on your product, on your solution, you have to think in terms of the users. When you are thinking in terms of users, you take away your normal thinking cap where you think about yourself, but now you will put on the hat of the users. You think in terms of the users, you think in terms of third party. If I was a user and I'm experiencing this problem, how would I solve this thing? Okay. If I was a product manager somewhere and I have this issue How do I assign these tasks to people? Where do they start from? I'm going to give you a practical illustration. Okay, some days ago, I had someone send me a text saying, okay, I was assigned to do this thing, this, and she was asked, as a product manager at Glovo, you identified that Glovo has been on a 30% decrease in sales. What would you do? And the first thing this lady was telling me is, please, Francis, what feature will I do? What product will I build? Now, how do I solve this thing? I need this. All what she was just saying was all boiled down to futures. And I was like, hey, hold up. No. You are getting it wrong. Have you asked yourself, why is there a decrease in sale in the first place? To the point where it now grew to 30%. Why? If you understand the reason behind why there has been a decrease in sale, you will know the best solution to give out to solve that problem. So if you don't understand why do they have a decrease in sales, is it as a result of their low users interface? People don't understand the way the app works. Why is Chowdeck having more sales than Glovo? Is it due to their advertisements? Is it due to their security? Is it due to their authenticity or users' approval? Or is it due to their social proof? Or is it due to the vendors they have on board? There are so many factors that could lead to Glovo having a 30% decrease in sales. Those are the things you should start looking at, asking yourself those questions, and not jumping into the solution. What do I do with this? And they have 30% sales, decrease in sales. What solution will I ship out? No, it's not done that way. Product management is not a copy and paste strategy. No, it's not a copy and paste strategy. You need to think in terms of every individual product. There's no template where when you face this problem, you go and copy the solution and you give it to them. No, you can't do that because you can't predict the market. You can't predict the behaviors of the market. Users, human beings, we are very confused. And we have various interests at the same time. So how then do you solve that? If you don't put the users into consideration, you need to go back and ask yourself, the best way to start from when you are given such tasks is to understand. You go back, you look at the data, and you look at where did this decrease start from? When? What happened at this date that made these things we start experiencing a decrease in sales? What led to it? What is the problem? Is it due to some issues which we've neglected? All these things are good questions to start asking before talking about shipping out futures to give you a perfect future. Because when you ship out those futures, you end up not solving the problem. You've just compounded the problem. My mentor would always say, if you motivate an idiot, you've worsened the case, because you now have a motivated idiot. You've not solved that idiot's problem, but you've even worsened the problem, because the motivated idiot you've produced would not make it now difficult for you to solve that motivated idiot's problem, because they continue in the foolish act which they are doing. So when you encounter an issue, the first question you should ask yourself as a product manager who has the and the same way a mother nurses the child, the mother nurses her baby and not want any harm to come close. That's the same way you should protect and provide for your product. Your product is your baby. You look after it. You nurse your product like a mother and protect like a father. So all these are the things you should put into mind first, into consideration first, before jumping into providing solution of that product. So another difference between a future thinking PM and the product thinking PM is the future thinking assumes what users want. They assume that, since users let's say for example, we'll use the e-learning app, the learning platform. They feel like, oh, the users will want a teaching a pink blackboard. Maybe because someone has said, oh, pink is my favorite color, and they say, oh, instead of we having a white blackboard, let's have a pink blackboard. That's a future. Now they ignore the motive. Why has these users requested for this solution? Why has this user requested for a pink blackboard? And they avoid asking the user, why do you choose pink? Why not another color? You might ask the user, why do you choose pink? And the user will say, nothing really. It's just that pink is my favorite color. And if you don't ask the after questions and you're just rushing into solving the jumping into solving the problem, you'll end up building a pink board whereby only that same user might even look at it and say, oh, this thing is not good, and still come back to complain that no, this thing should be a blackboard. And you now ask yourself, well, you said you wanted a pink. That the users just actually don't know what they want. They don't know the kind of solution they want. But it is you, as the product manager, that understands their problem. You will be the one to now take the inputs which you've gotten from the users, the pain point, to now structure a solution that meets the needs of those users. Then you, after providing that solution, you now monitor how the users react to that solution. So instead of assuming what users want, a product thinking PM validates the user's feedback. You get the user's research, you get the user's responses, then you validate to know what's the motive behind this. Is this actually a key problem for a user that said, I want a pink board, and you ask why? And they just said, oh, it's nothing really, just because I love pink. You know that that particular solution, it's not actually a problem. It's just our love for the pink. But at that same time, you could look at, why do you want a pink board? And the user could say, oh, pink is saves you cost. In this black ink, pink is less affordable. And that would give you an insight. Oh, yes, this is good. This is a solution. Now, the user is not saying, I want pink because I like pink or it's my favorite color. But now the user has validated the reason why he or she asked for a pink board. Producing a pink board is cheaper and less expensive and convenient to a blackboard. I don't know if you guys are getting the ideology of what I'm saying. So when you think in terms of the users and you don't assume what users want, but you validate, you ask and you validate what the users want, then you know you're putting yourself in that frame of what? Thinking, product thinking. So another difference is the future-based thinking is focused on shipping out futures, whereas the product thinking is focused on the outcome of the users. They are more focused on the outcome of the users rather than the futures that will be put into place. Now we have some examples here. Okay, the learning app drop off. Okay, learning app scenario. Like I said, imagine yourself as the product manager and you're in a team where you guys are building a learning app, and you notice students are dropping off from it, and you start wondering why. As a future thinker, what a future thinker will just ship out is, oh, students are dropping off. Let's make it more interactive. Let's add a quiz leaderboard. And once the students, if you're able to answer 5 questions, you will have this star. And most students, you think when you do that, most students will want to hop in to get that star. Yes, they might hop in and get the star, and they will hop out. Garbage in, garbage out. And you still fail to solve that problem of retaining those users within the loop. But as a product manager with a product thinking mentality, you ask yourself this question: why are students dropping off at week 2? What happens between week 1 to week 2 that makes the student not to transition from week 2 to week 3? Why don't those students continue from week 2 to week 3? Why are they not going from week 3 to week 4 to the end of the program? Why do they just drop off after week 1? And you start asking yourself, you start asking questions, doing your finding. Is it as a result of bad content? Is the content too hard? Is the content boring? Maybe they lost motivation. Why did they lose motivation? What they requested for and what they are getting, are they not matching? Is the gap between what I ordered and what I got too much? So you need to then know that, ask yourself this question: is the facilitator boring? Is the class not interactive? Are students dozing off after the first 2 classes, which result to them not continuing from week 2? So a lot of questions start popping in. Now, why those questions? You just need to allow yourself to absorb those questions, take note of those questions. Then you start providing answers to those questions. When you start providing answer, why are students dropping off? Is the content boring? You go through the content. You listen to it. Is this thing too hard? You make some research, you ask some students, hey students, we're just doing some kind of research. How are you seeing the content as classes? You don't tell them you want to know why, because this is where most PM gets it wrong. You start giving your users idea of what the solution you want to build. It's wrong. You don't pitch solution, your idea out. You go with the mindset of understanding the problem. And you as a product manager, if I should have meet students in such situation, I could just create a survey or have a one-on-one section with such students, and I ask, hello, Esther, how are you doing? I'm calling from this, so this. How has classes been? How has the lecture been so far? You joined so day and you this. So far, what's the lecture like? Is it they tell you, oh, the lecture is bad, I'm not enjoying it? When they are giving you their feedback, what you do is you listen and you take notes of their responses. The lecture is bad. The facilitator is boring. No, the class is not engaging. You take note of those questions, those responses, and you let them know, oh, we're sorry about that. Is it as a result of the internet, or what do you think would have caused that? I think the person doesn't properly understand the concept which he or she is teaching. That's why the class is boring, and he or she, maybe the facilitator does not have this teaching skill. Then we'll know that, okay, the facilitator has issues. Or you could call on another student, and that student might not see the facilitator as a problem. Might say, oh, the context which the context being taught, the content is quite too difficult for me to comprehend. That's an issue. You take note of it. The content of the lecture is hard. It's difficult. You take note. Then some might say the class isn't interactive. There are too much noise, too many students speaking at the same time. You take note of it. Then after gathering all these responses from users. You then validate the response to cross-check which of these response has impact on this greatest impact on the reason why students are dropping off after week 2. Then you look at if the facilitator is one with the highest impact. You look at, oh, facilitator, you're boring. You can look at, instead of how do we solve that? You have a conversation with the facilitator that, please, your class will notice your class is boring. We will need you to up your game. And if there is no change, we could replace you. Then you've already provided a solution to that problem. If the class is boring or the students are losing motivation, you could communicate, okay, what is resulting to you guys losing motivation? Is it you could lose motivation when you're not even getting anything or about what the whole concept being taught? That's a factor which could lead to loss of motivation, whereby you start and you're feeling strange. Oh, what I even thought this is all about is not what it is. Let me hop out. So all these things are things you need to start looking into towards solving a problem like this learning app drop off. Like I gave an example of the Glovo, which a friend spoke to me about. If you picture yourself in that shoe, do you think the product owners are happy that they are losing their users? No. But what do you do if you are being brought on board that we have this problem, we are facing this problem? How do we solve this problem? You don't just go ahead looking at, okay, what feature, let's ship this feature out. No, you take out your pen, you take out your paper or your journal, you ask question. Why are we losing users? If it involves you having an internal stakeholder meeting to understand what resulted to it, is it as a result of high subcharge? Is it as a result of high delivery charge? Are the users being charged more for the same distance which compared to other users? Because pricing could make users drop off. When I know that I'm ordering from let's say I'm not even into so much of ordering meals. So
Chowdeck.
no, I'm not actually Chowdeck. I'm talking about the vendors. I'm not so used to, I enjoy preparing my meals myself. So let's say we have Lala. Let me just use the example, Lala's Kitchen. Is the charges you actually charging as the product owners, are you charging the vendors more? To you resulting having low vendors on your platform? Or the delivery fee, which is 1,000 naira or 200 for 1,000 naira price, did you increase it to 500? So if I'm looking at those factors, so many factors could come in from the product owner's end. It could come in from the users. The problem could come in from the vendors. Are the users not happy with the vendors you have on board on your platform? What do you do? How do you get feedback from the users if the distribution process is cool? Is the result of it, are they angry or are they dropping off as a result of a mode of mobility of how we distribute the goods? Are they not happy with our service flow? Now, this has nothing to do with vendors. Vendors could actually be giving out the best meal. And this has nothing to do with the users, because the users as well could be purchasing a good meal. Now, it now involves the chain of distribution. Then you now find out that, oh, where the problem is lying is the chain of distribution. Users are complaining about long time waits for their meal. They should order a meal, it takes like 45 minutes to 1 hour before they get their meal. Or maybe at the end of the meal, when they get the condition of the meal is bad. Sometimes their meal could get broken, whereby the meal actually is being open and all that. So you now look at the problem why users are hopping off from the Glovo app is found in this chain of distribution, the transfer of the product from the vendor to users. That is where the problem is. Then you now look at who are the riders having these issues, these complaints we are having from users. What riders have these issues? You know that now we need to focus more on the riders. Then how do you do that? You could have a meeting with your riders. You could tell them, we notice you guys are delivering the products in bad conditions. This is what we'll do. We'll have a vetting process, or we create a feature whereby users can tag a rider and drop a comment on a rider. If you all notice, both has that feature as well, where users can comment, this rider is bad. At first, they didn't have that. What they were all about was taking users could book ride from the comfort of their home. They transit the user from one point to another. But then they noticed that they were getting more complaints from users' experience. Users were not happy. They were complaining about some boat drivers robbing them, boat drivers having connection with kidnappers and all that. So in order to solve this thing, they created this future rating stuff. Now, when you go to some riders, you have their accounts being flagged, or you have some comments, a comment section whereby someone goes to that comment and this driver is rude, this driver does not have respect. And when you hop in trying to book a ride with such person, such notification gets popped up to you, and you look at, would you want to take a ride with a rude driver, which someone has already complained about? And they also introduce features like ratings. Someone with high ratings gives you this security that this person has a good user experience. So all these are the things you look into as to why a product is having issue, as to why Glovo is experiencing a drop-off in their sales, in users, why this learning app is actually experiencing a drop-off of students after week 2. So if you start asking such questions, if you start looking at this product in such way, you start getting clarity of what the problem is all about and how to solve those problems. Now let's look at a case study. We have WhatsApp. We all make use of WhatsApp. When WhatsApp came into place, they identified a problem, the user's problem, high SMS cost. Someone talked about this, so I actually picked points some of the assignments you guys talked about to put some as a case study, making use of a product that are already solving those solutions. So you have WhatsApp. They identified something, high SMS cost. Oh, we have to send a message, an SMS to someone, you have to pay. Let's assume WhatsApp just came into existence in this current situation now, whereby sending an SMS is 6 naira. It has moved from 4 naira to 6 naira. So we now have WhatsApp. Let's solve this problem of SMS cost, high SMS cost. Now, it's not that there is no call rate, there is no high call tariff. There is. But first, what they started with was they identified one pain point, SMS. How do we get users to send message without reducing the cost or not having any cost? Now, if you want to send an SMS on WhatsApp, you are not charged. So it's a free internet-based messaging platform. That is the product thinking. How do you remove the costs? You transit users from SMS to internet, whereby they create a platform, whereby if they are on this platform, they can communicate and send message to one another freely at the cost of their data. Once you have internet, you can easily send SMS. Are you getting the point now? Are we all getting the point? They identify the problem, which is users' high SMS cost, and the thinking behind it. Since we've been able to identify this, why don't we create a free internet-based messaging platform? Now, the platform would not work based on SMS tariff, but it will work on the internet. You have your data can do so many things. You can send tons of messages and you won't be charged anything from your regular account. Now, what is the impact of it? The impact which WhatsApp gave became the #1 global communication app. There's nowhere you want to communicate with anyone. Do you have a WhatsApp? Is your number on WhatsApp? 9 times, if you have 10 users, you have 9.5 users that have WhatsApp. So gradually they are conquering that communication-based ground, the niche. They've solved that problem. Now, if you notice, they started with SMS, but now WhatsApp can make audio call. They now had to ship in a new feature. Since we've been able to solve SMS costs, I think we can also reduce the call cost as well. So you find out that most people make calls on WhatsApp, say, more than their regular call. They load airtime, they don't even use it to make calls. They use the airtime to buy data. And most of their calls are on WhatsApp. That way, they've been able to save themselves the cost of buying airtime. So you only call someone who is not active on WhatsApp. Nowadays, if you want to call someone, you call via WhatsApp because it gives you room to talk over a long period of time. At the end of the day, you could talk for hours and end up spending just 5 MB. They've solved that problem. But if you're to make use of your regular airtime to make a call for 1 hour, you're going to be recharging airtime close to 3,000, 4,000. And at the end of the day, with this current tariff, you might not even stay up to 30 minutes and they are already telling you your airtime is almost exhausted. And these airtime users they are very, very annoying, especially Glo. They just cut off your communication. So I think they've worked on that. Glo has actually worked on that. So this is where WhatsApp now came in. They now solved the problem of audio calls. They now introduced video calls, keeping their users looped around in that same problem, in that same solution, in the solution which they provided. They keep revolving users, giving users new features to stay glued to it. That is one thing which iPhone as well does. Every time, if you look at iPhone 12 to 16 that we have now, there is no much difference. iPhone 16 to 17, the only difference which they are talking about, the future which they want to ship out, is having that small circle 3 camera, having it extended to the whole back. Now, you will look at, it's still the same 3 camera. Nothing changes. But they just introduce that feature. Why are they doing it every now and then? Is to keep their users glued. And when they introduce that 17, you have users saying, I want to use 17, or I want to use it. But the users, if they should sit back to look at this real scenario, there's no difference between 16 and 17. It's just the back cover of the case of the other 17. The camera is still in the same position. They just extended it to one side, adjusting the flashlight and one hole there. So you just look at it that the problem, the feature which they rolled out actually has no difference. But why did they roll out that feature? To keep their users glued and always hungered to make use of the latest trendings of iPhone. That is what? Understanding the problem. And the lesson we get from WhatsApp is real problem equals simple but powerful solution. We also have another case study, Piggyvest. Now, someone also spoke about saving money and saving money, this and that. We have Piggyvest. What problem did Piggyvest identify? they identified that people struggle with saving consistently. That was the problem. People struggle with saving consistently. Now, in terms of thinking, why do people struggle? Is it as a result of they forgetting or having expenses being budgeted more than what they plan to save? A lot of factors could come in. Then how do we help people save consistently? Let us create a platform whereby users will be the one to set up their platform the way they want it and make the savings automated with lock features. Because they found out that when users save their money, they go back to break the colo, like those who made use of colo. You will go back, once your colo is very close to you, you go back to it, you break it, you use the money, I will replace it back, is what you keep telling yourself. Or you save your money in your bank, you will still go back and withdraw it. You have your online saving platform. Like if you're making use of OPay, you have your save box. OPay now, you have the save box where you're saving money over a certain period of time, but they still give you a loophole that you can break the money when you break the contract, but they will take their own charges. So they are not even bothered, because if you break the contract, they will still collect whether 30% or 40% violation of the contract fee. They will still make profit. OPay itself would even want you to be breaking the contract safe so that they can be making more profits. So are you getting me? So Piggyverse now looked at, but for Piggyverse it's different. That once you save the money over a certain period of time, you cannot break it. That money, you cannot access it until the stipulated date for you to unlock. So they created an automated savings with lock feature. So if you're going to wait over a period of 1 year, you must wait over a period of 1 year. What you should be praying for is long life. Because if anything should happen to such user within that period, the money they get to make use of it. Adeboye, your hands are
Yes,
raised.
but yes, I wanted to say in Piggyverse you can break it too. It's just like a cheat. You can break it.
So,
yes, you backdate it. It's simple. You backdate it to the present date. You change the date. Like I said before, I said I'm using it. You can backdate it. Yes,
so
when you put it to the present date, they will just remove their percentage, just like OPay.
you can
Yes, yes.
That's all right.
Yes.
But when your
Sorry.
data is on, it connects directly to the internet, so it should know that the time has not changed now.
You
That is the
can
only sense.
backdate it. I've done.
I
Okay,
believe,
so
I think that's very true, because I've
Yeah.
done a lot of backdating, so I know how that
So
literally works.
you can
So you can
backdate it.
easily turn off your location. When you turn off your location, it automatically does not take such data. So you now go to your clock and you actually reset all that. So I know about backdating. I've used that a couple of times. So you've been using that to break your savings. Can imagine. Instead of just thinking how to solve your problem and stay consistent, you are thinking of solution how to break the contract.
Please, I hope there is nobody working in Piggyverse in this class.
Please don't.
Because you've already given them the idea, so they will now be very it. Esther, your hands is there.
okay, so for me, I've used Piggyverse before, but I'm just getting to know about this backdating. So I feel most users don't really know about the feature.
Yeah, most user doesn't know, but I actually worked on it. It's something that I sat down on with the app and find a solution to it. I don't know, many people don't know, but I personally have done it before.
You see?
Please, if anybody gets employed into Piggyverse, don't go and stop this thing. No, please, just leave it like that. Please.
just leave the picture that way so we can still access it. Any day it gets cancelled, then I will know someone on us here. So for now, this is our secret. Let's keep it silent.
Okay.
So, like we all say now, we see Piggyverse now. For those who don't know, like Esther, a user that don't know that we can backdate a Piggyverse to get the money the same day. So what they do, they feel Piggyverse is actually solving their problem. Let's say, for example, it has not gotten to the notice of the product manager there, and maybe, and let's say they already know, they intentionally left that feature open, because when you breach that contract, you get to pay some amount of money. Am I correct?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. But there
So
is
you-
another one. There is another features there. That
Mhm.
they have different features. There is one particular one. It's this target saving. You cannot break that one. I've tried.
So
But
you see,
this safe lock, you can break it.
so you
That's
see,
just
if they're going to charge you for that, you find out that at the end of the day, they know that you are breaking it, but they just left that thing just more like a, how would I put it, black market product. They actually
yes. And they
discard that.
charge you more. They charge you more. They really charge you.
So you see, Piggyverse is not foolish. They know that people are backdating it, but they only make that feature accessible to you to go through the backyard so you can make use of it. So you see that they know about it. That is why they know about it. That is why you can even make use of it. So don't think they don't know. They know. They are just allowing you to enjoy while they are making their profits. Because if they don't know about it, they will not be able to, they won't charge you. So that charges is what makes you know that these people actually know that I want to backdate it. I want to run some backyard deals. So they will charge you for backdating it, because once your due date is reached, you'll get your full money without you being charged. So that's just the thing. So now what now Piggyverse today now has now grown. The result they've gotten up to 4+ million users in Nigeria. The takeaway there is deep understanding of the problem leads to users' loyalty. Deep understanding of the problem leads to users' loyalty. So if we move on, we still have another case study, Paystack. And when Paystack came into existence, it's also a Nigerian product. What they identified the problem, which is users were users they identify the problem that there's a difficult on online payments in Nigeria for businesses. Before Paystack came in, it was difficult for you to order something online and get to pay. So there was no room for making payments on the app, making payments on the platform. So that was the problem which they identified. And they went on to creating a solution. Difficulty online payments for Nigerian businesses. You can see that this problem was based on in Nigeria. They started with Nigerian market. That was why I said most of you that were shipping out ideas that wants to conquer the world when you've not conquered your own backyard. I don't know how you want to build it. First, you need to conquer your country. We have the users here in Nigeria. We have the numbers. We have the market. We have the population. So what you should be looking at is how to ship in your ideas to conquer the market here. And once you are able to do that, I bet you it will be very easy for you to transit from Nigeria to other African countries. If you can conquer the African country, you'll be able to go outside globally. Just like our music. Our music here, in the music industry, once any Charlie Poppy or Davido or Whiskey should drop music here, they started with the Nigerian market, and we had the masses, we had the numbers. The users were vibing to it, pushing it out. Then you have them conquering Africa. You have Burna Boy, Giant of Africa. Then it's not like you don't have the Ghanaians, artists and all that. They do exist. So, but the thing is, we have the numbers, but they don't. So we have the market, more markets than they do. So that's one thing you should also put into consideration, how to conquer your local territory before moving into a bigger one. So what lesson do we get from Paystack? In essence, after identifying the online payments, what was the thinking? The product thinking is creating a seamless local checkout system. Paystack is a payment gateway. And what is it all about? They are more like the middleman payments between, you've all used Chowdeck or your local, you've purchased something online, Jumia or so. When you add your card or your bank details and you order a meal or something, let me use a card, very clear example. You have a certain amount in your account and you link your card to your Chowdeck account and you ordered a meal of 10,000 and you have 11,000 in your account. When you click proceed, Chowdeck automatically withdraws that money from your account to their own account, to Chowdeck account. So what actually takes the money from your local bank account to the merchant's account is what we call payment gateway. That is what Paystack does. We create a secured payment system whereby you can, an online secured online system whereby you can take money, you can send money from the customer's account to the merchant's account, and you will not be scared of they not getting your money or something like that. And mind you, most times the merchants don't actually receive the actual money on time. It takes some days, let's say 24 hours before it sits in their account. Yeah, sometimes it does that, but you will be deducted. Once you deducted, you know that that money is in transit to your account. So that's what Paystack actually does. They set that platform, that gateway. And now Paystack, which is a Nigerian product, actually sold out to Stripe, yeah, I think in 2020 for over $200 million. You know how much it's worth now. So your product could actually, when you try to see such thing, and this Paystack is an African-based product. They are well used gateway in Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, just based in Africa. And when Stripe saw that, whoa, these people are actually breaking grounds in Africa, they said that let's go in and buy them off, or we partner with them. Now, Stripe have now noticed that Paystack is now a competitor to us. We either go in, negotiate with them to buy them off the market, or if they are willing to sell off, they will sell off at a higher price cost. If we are not going to buy them off, how do we partner with these people? That's why you see some companies come together to form one, they merge and become one. They are in partnership so that you no longer, when your enemy becomes your friend, when you bring your enemy closer, when they become your friend, they no longer see you as a threat. So let's be in partnership. When you're in partnership, when you move, I move. Any step you make, I'm also making the step. So that's another thing. So what did they do? They acquired what? The outcome which they got was they were acquired by Stripe. That was the outcome. And they did this successfully. We have various payment gateways. We have Stripe, we have Flutterwave. There are various payment gateways which are being used today. Now, what's the lesson from this? A clear, painful problem equals huge business opportunity. A clear, painful problem equals huge business opportunity. So when the founders of Paystack sold up, the problem was actually a painful one. Now we have people shopping online. The problem is, how do we make payments online? That was the problem. And you're talking about people shopping online, coming to shop online, shop online. How do they get their payments secured? Because you can't say shop online and you tell me, you ask yourself, how do I make payments? If Paystack wasn't in existence, how do we make payments? That would be a problem. So they identified that and they decided to solve that. And they were focused, they have their users which they focused on. Businesses, startup, you get organizations that are running an enterprise and would be giving out services to users, and users will be paying for those services on their platform. That's where Paystack fits in that chain that gets the payment secured. So when you order on Chowdeck and you make your payments, there is a payment gateway that secure your payment automatically. So this the merchant does not have right to withdraw your money more than once if you don't permit it. And sometimes you might place an order of 10,000 and you have 9,000 in your account. It would indicate insufficient balance. It will reject the offer. So you will now have to go back and reduce it or something, or you add cash to your available balance so that they can give you a complete checkout of the total goods you listed. So understanding these case studies brings us to this, the tools for product thinking. You're looking at it, and I know most of you might feel like tools. What tools will help me? No, there are no just physical tools. It's you doing your thinking. This is what AI would not do for you. AI, like I told you guys, AI is actually changing the way we work as product managers, but AI would not do something, will not change something, which is user centricity. And that is where you as a PM becomes relevant, harnessing the power of AI to produce better products. So in using tools, mind mapping, use tools to think deeply, mind mapping, explore users' frustration. Now you start thinking. I know most of us, we don't like to think. That's why we are having problem looking through a particular problem that we've identified. We don't like thinking. And that's very bad, because as a product manager, if you have issues thinking, you won't strive here, because product management is all about you thinking. You are the thinking cap of that product, the engine room. You think forward, but most especially, you think backward. What have the users used? When you are bringing up a solution, you don't just look into the future, you ask the user, when last did you experience this problem? When last did you encounter a problem like you not having a good cosmetic that fits your skin? When was the last time you experienced such? They tell you that. How often do you experience such issue? What kind of product have you used that gives you such reaction? What product didn't give you those reaction? Why didn't you focus more on those products that didn't give you those reaction? You start asking basic questions like that to understand how the users use, what are the current solutions they are actually using. So you see that there's nothing new under the sun. I don't think there's anything new again. The only thing new is we living on the moon or another planet. That doesn't mean life does not exist there, but we moving from Earth to another planet is something new. But how you transit from here to that place is not new. We've had people move in different ways. So since nothing is new, the only thing now is the way we do things now is what is changing. The thinking behind it is what is changing. How we solve this problem is what is changing. So you need to get yourself equipped enough to also be relevant to the changes. as occurring. We also have tools like observation logs to watch how the users, now here you are watching how the users behave. How do users behave when they are using the products? Are they satisfied? Are they angry? What is their reaction like? Now, this is what you start looking into as a product manager too. You look at users' behavior. So these are the things you just need to look into. And you also need to look into product problems, product problem canvas. What is the problem? Who are experiencing this problem? Why should I solve this problem? Why should I solve this problem now? These are the kind of thinking you should be having. And when you're having such, you start asking yourself, when you start asking yourself this question, you start seeing that problem from a different dimension. And when you start seeing such problem from a different dimension, you start gaining clarity of how to solve those problems. Because you've been able to answer what is the problem, who is experiencing this problem, and why should you solve this problem. So understanding these tools would help us think properly as a good product manager. So if we're able to do this, now we now have, this is where things now get interesting. Now today's it's going to be like assessment. Now it's going to be a group work. Like I said, I know some persons here, after all this, we tend to go through the class or to go through the recordings and all that. So today, henceforth, we'll be having a change of the dynamics of how we do things. We're going to have a group discussion whereby we'll be grouped into a team of 5. So I want, after this class, we all should, how do we do that now? We all will drop our names in the group chat so I can group each person to a particular set, a team of 5. Within tonight, I will have a team set up. First, I need to know how many of us are here. If you're online or you're watching this recording, you also need to participate in this. Now, the grouping, what we are going to do within your team, now you're going to work as a team. You're not just working as yourself alone. Because most times I notice when you're thinking of your idea alone, you tend to start thinking of so many things. But when you're in a team and you bring up some kind of questions or suggestions, ideas, someone would ask you some questions regarding that. And when they ask questions, you start looking at things differently. So if someone is saying something else, no, this thing, we've done this thing here. I've seen somebody use this thing before. Then you will now see that you guys will be helping yourself to stay focused as one. So now, the exercise, what was it all about? You'll pick an existing product. Now, you are not picking your own product. You are picking an existing product, such as Uber, Bolt, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, OPX, Chowdeck, Paystack, PDVest, Flow, whatsoever product, Flash Score. For those of us who are into sports, Flash Score is actually solving a problem, keeping us updated on the trendings in the sporting field. So you ask yourself this question, within that team, you pick a product, you all will agree on one product, everyone will go home, you think, okay, let's work, I bring this, you do this, then this is what we call team collaboration. This would also help you build team collaboration, how to work with team, getting you all set up for the real world. So when you do that, you bring your idea, this person brings this idea, the 5 of you have 5 ideas. Then you guys deliberate on which of them. Now you are validating your ideas. You are actually in the first phase of your product management life cycle. You've brought in ideas. Let's talk about X. Let's talk about Facebook. Now every one of these come together. You validate the idea. No, let's pick this one. This one might be simple, more simple compared to this. This one is more straightforward to this. Then you come up with one product. Now you validated that product. That is one. You've gone through the validation and the whole planning phase. Now, what after validating the product, what do I want you to do? You ask yourself this core question, and every one of you have to answer.
Sorry, please, what do you mean by validating a product?
Okay. What I mean is this. Let's say we're in a team of 5, and one person said, let's work on OP. This one said Bolt. This one said Facebook. This one said, then we all will come together as one. You say, okay, you saying OP, why should we use OP? You saying this one, everyone brings their reasons why they should pick a particular product. Then you all vote, okay, let's vote, let's see which one. Then you all come together to pick just one product. You validate all your research and all that. You can now say, oh, this one might be stressful, so let's pick this one that is very simple. And maybe at the end of the discussion, you all pick, let's go with OP. You've all validated your ideas towards getting one output, which is OP, which is the product you are using. I'm only making use of that product management terminology, which is validation. So you get used to all these terminologies. So I believe you understand what I just said.
Yes, yes, sir.
So when you pick a particular product, you ask yourself these questions. What core problem does this particular product solve? Now, when you have that question, each and every one of you would go and do your own research. If you like, go and start writing ChatGPT. No, first, don't use ChatGPT. Sit down to think within, use your head, use your brain. Your brain cells are not dead, so you can still think. So sit down and think at the basic form. What is the problem this product is solving? If you don't know what problem it's solving, you can make research on that particular product. Okay, this is what is this. You understand the product. Then you go back and you reflect. Okay, me, I'm the one using this. Okay, I'm using it to make transaction. What's the problem it's solving? Is it quick instant alerts? That's true. Why did OP even come into existence? We know that other local banks takes time to give you alerts. So OP now devised a means of quick instant alerts. That's the problem. So when you receive the money, you get it almost immediately. You get the notification almost immediately, even before the money gets to your account. So that's the problem OP is solving. And since I've used OP, no one should use OP. No, nobody should use OP. Since I've used OP, I've explained that, I've given that hint. Let me take it off. So OP is gone. So now we don't have OP again. I've solved that one. I've already given you guys the expo. Before some teams, you guys will now go up and say it's OP you want to use, because I've told you it's quick instant alert. So that's what OP is actually solving. And every other banking structure is the same thing like every local banking. So that's the same thing. In the fintech, that's what they're solving. And we have some, you can now, after looking into that, when you guys come up with what problem they are solving, now is you understanding the problem. You all will come together, you deliberate, you go through it, you discuss. Now you submit your assignment as a group of 5. A group of 5. Now, when you submit that assignment in a group of 5, you send that as a document form to the WhatsApp group. How you structure it, you have your names in it. So once I give a score to that particular assignment, I would replicate that score across all the names on the portal, gradings in the portal. So that's the way it's going to be. So your names will be there, the product name which you want to work on. You look at this key thing, what's the core problem? What core problem does this product solve? You give me the answer. Very simple. You don't need too much grammar. Just this is what this thing is solving. For OPay, the core problem they are solving is instant alert. So that's the problem. Who benefits the most from it? Is it the user? Is it the merchant? Is it the product owners? So look at who benefits the most. Okay, Onyi, your hand is up.
Yes, so good evening. When you mention core problem, there are products that like Opay now. Opay works for. I have several reasons why I use Opay, same with someone else. So my reason may differ from someone else's reason why he or she is using that product. Because when you talk about Flow has different reasons. It works for as a like a lady. Some could be used for like tracking their period. Some it could be used for like tracking the dates when when like they know when they are fighter or not. So when you say core problem, you're giving us like, oh, we should just at least mention one. But mentioning one, and so, especially when a product has so many features in it that it works for people. Do you get?
Yes, I get what you're saying. But I
So
can
are you
tell you,
saying we
no,
should
I
only
can
mention
tell you,
just one?
no. I can tell you that when Flow came into existence, Flow didn't start off by all these other features you see today. The other features you see Flow is actually solving is as a result of feedback and users' research which they've done. They see that this could also fit in. People are also experiencing this. They are not going to just use this thing for tracking. They're also going to use to know exactly when they are more fertile or not. So OPay didn't start as some persons could be using OPay for savings. That's a feature. But the core reason why OPay started, the main problem, this is where you're getting it wrong. The main problem is why OPay came into existence when we had issues with banking. They noticed that when you transfer money from one person to another, there is always a delay in when you receive the alert. It could take 24 hours to, and that is not good for business person, because how will you sell a particular product to someone and the person has done the transfer because your bank is delaying the alert, then you have me tied down, or you tell me to come back the next day to come pick up my product until you receive the alert from your local bank. So the main problem which OPay came out to solve was instant alert. That was the key thing they came in. That was what they brought to the market. Every other features you see are secondary, but they had countless number of solutions they wanted to offer, but they picked the MVP. That is where MVP comes into play. The minimum viable product. OPay is solving countless of issues, but I bet you if OPay had come up with the solution of safe box, they might not even sell. It will just crumble. So they had to understand what was the main pain point of the users and what solution are we shipping out to the users. So they started off with the instant alert. So when they started off, they see people are using it. If you are doing businesses, you get recommendations from users. They tell you, are you not using OPay? Instead of me wasting, I even tell you market sellers and all that. Why not use OPay? Why not use this one? Why not use that one? Why not use money points? So anything about the OPay money points nobody should bring up those ideas. I've actually spoken about them because they are all using the same thing. They all came up with the same idea into the market. OPay money points, instant alert. So now you have money points now doing POS. It now moves focus more on businesses where the users can pay with their card. Those things are extra features as to why they came into the market. But every business you see today has an MVP, which they came to the market with. It could be one, it could be two. But in most cases, most MVP are just one simple, that is that testing product, one simple your prototype you are bringing to the market. You see the way users are using it, you start advancing. So now, in order for you to keep your users glued to your product, continuously using your product, you start shipping in new features, whereby you now have other features like save box, where they can save interest. If you don't want to save box your money over a long period of time, you have daily savings. So every product has its core features, the core problem which it solves, which is coming to the marketplace with. So if you can understand that, that will give you clarity to look beyond the noise and other features to get the actual problem which they came out to solve. Then, after understanding who benefits the most from the product, you ask yourself this question: what if this product disappears tomorrow? What would be your fate? If Opay should disappear tomorrow, what would happen? Now you are looking into the future. What if Opay disappears tomorrow? All my money. How would I be solving instant transfer? I'm already used to instant transfer, getting my getting my money in. Once you send me money, I'm seeing it immediately. That would become a problem. How would we solve that? So that's one thing. But if you can focus, Opay should not try it. Don't worry. When we had MMM that came into play, how you can transfer money, you multiply your money from 1,000 to 200,000 within 2 days. The day it's left, nobody. But we all know that even up to today, we still have some users who have this myth about Opay that it could crash anytime soon. There are some users with such ideology. Maybe they don't want to accept technology. That's why they have that fear. So
Okay, I'm one of them, sir.
So you see, I know that such users exist. Now, if someone is pitching you having an online bank to you, you're a bad market user to the person. If someone should come to you pitching those things, you will just say, "Oh, that's good, that's nice, cool. Don't worry, when you build your product, I will patronize you." When they now build the product, you will not deceive the user, the product manager, to building rubbish. Which when after building, they come to you, hey, Esther, you said once I'm done building the product, we should let you know. We are done, we are on board. Now, for you to onboard, you just go and block those people. I bet may not no come stress me or what you will say, stuff like that. So that's the thing. The core objective of this assignment is to train your brain to spot the problem first. If you can spot the problem first, you look in the noise. There is noise everywhere. With the whole product are flooded with lots of features. If you can look in away from those distractions to focus on the problem, look for the light in the darkness. That would also help you to look for the light in the darkness of the problem you've identified. Then you see that it now restructure the way you ask your questions. Yeah, you can go ahead. Anolua, your hand is raised up.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
Question is, I didn't get your point when you said, "What if it disappears tomorrow?" So, what exactly are we? What's the point of that question? Are we supposed to say, "Oh, we're going to move on to another platform," or what exactly are we supposed to answer with that question? Did you get me? Okay, I can hear you now.
I didn't get your question.
Oh, I said that the last question that says, what if that something disappears now? So I
Mm.
said I haven't understood your point with that question. Are we supposed to state what we are going to do if that platform happens to disappear? Or if OPE disappears now, I'm going to move to CUDA, or what's the point of the question?
Yeah, exactly. You just answered the question yourself. You would move
Oh,
to
okay.
that is also a solution. And
Okay.
moving to the next competition is a solution. You could also talk about, oh, okay, what is the key thing okay is actually solving? Quick instant alert. How do I get such features integrated? What API do OPay make use of to get such integration? They make use of system. I think it's Stanbic. Yeah, is it Stanbic Bank that gives that software, or is it Stanbic or Sterling Bank? It's one of these banks which OPay partners with that has the API that produces that solves that particular problem. So if you look at it, okay, if OPay should go off today, I will just switch to Kuda or PalmPay, or I just deal with money points. And what if there is no money point or there's no other CUDA? Now, if you burn the bridges, you will then now put yourself in that position to think of a solution. Now, you could not think of a solution. Your solution could not be the new competition to OP. Now, because you are not seeing things, what if these people are no longer going to be in existence? What would happen? Now, from your thoughts, you could now look at, oh, you could get this or a backup or set up a system. What if these people should go off? How do they get their money saved? Let's have this integration whereby even if they close up today, you can get access to your money or create a platform where users can as well access their money even if you leave it. Stuff like that is what I'm referring
Okay.
to about the benefit and all that. So
Okay. Thank you very much.
it's just to train you guys on how think, to think differently, to train you to spot the problem before thinking about the solution. That's the major thing. And also help train you guys to work effectively as a team. So with that in, I believe you all got this. I will also drop this in the group. So for those who are not in this meeting, because I know we are more than the number we have here that are registered for this course. For those who are online, who likes watching the video, you have to also engage in this exercise because this is what differentiates you from just watching a regular YouTube video. YouTube video, you don't get this engagement. You can do it at your own pace, but there's one thing lacking, which is the engagement. So we're trying to get this. You have been muted since. Oh, oh my God. Ah. Wow. So, in essence, does anyone have question? I didn't even realize I've been muted. Does anyone have any question? So, like I said, all right, go ahead, Esther.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for today's class. All right, so this is my question.
All right.
Now, when we are talking about product thinking, for
Mm.
example, I noticed in the app usage, some people dropped off. I've done my research, done user interview, questionnaires, and all that. So, how do I know? I got different responses from people, right? So, how do I know which feature to prioritize based on the feedback I got?
Okay. Now, the responses given to you were not features. That is one. Those were feedbacks given to you by the users. It's now your duty to understand this feedback and the motive behind each feedback. Then you now prioritize them, looking at which of these has the greater effect on this problem. As to the reason why users are dropping off after second week, when you identify that particular problem that has the greatest effect on it, that should be the first thing you should start solving. If it involves you getting a tutor, or this tutor is not working on fine, you look at the tutor, you getting a tutor is not, you don't need to start building a future for it. You work up to the facilitator. Oh, we've gotten this feedback and it's the statistic shows that you are not having a good interaction with your student. Please try to make good interaction with your students so you can keep the class lively. Because this is the major reason why we're having students drop off after 2 weeks. I don't know if you are getting my point. So you need to take note of the feedbacks, then prioritize them. It's you understanding all those feedbacks are what you need to solve this problem. But you need to now look at which of those feedbacks has the highest effect. Now, other solutions, other feedbacks will give you insight towards creating other features, other solutions in the future. Yep. So, with that being said, who else has another question?
When do we have to submit the assignment you're giving to us?
This assignment will be submitted latest by Wednesday. We would review all the groups on Wednesday. So if there's will be any addition by tomorrow's class, I would add to what you have now. So you all will go to the weekend. Then on Wednesday we'll review them.
Are you grouping? Are you creating the groups today?
Yes, so I need the names. It's not like me creating a group. I will just have a group of names, a sheet.
So how do we get notifications of the groups that we have become a part of?
I'm going to drop the list in the group chat. I'll create a document, write everything in a grouping format of the document. Yes, Edric, I'm grouping everyone for the assignment. So once I do that, that's why I requested for everyone's name. I know how many of you are here, so I use that. If it's 20 something, if it's 20, then I divide that team of 4 in the document. I'll have not here in the WhatsApp group, please. In the WhatsApp group, please. In the group chat, WhatsApp group chat. So I will do that after this class. Arrange every name. So once it's done, I'll post it in the group chat so you all can look at your team members and reach out to each other in the group. So if you're in group 1, you indicate you are in group 1 so your colleagues can easily identify and reach out to you. So you guys start communicating effectively towards the solution you are supposed to come up with. All right. Does anyone have another question? Mr. The new person we have in the house, Norma, how was today's class? It's your first time joining us. You're welcome to the team. This is a product management family. You're welcome. How did you see today's class joining, though we've gone some weeks ahead? Can you hear me?
Okay. Good evening. I can hear you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So today's class was insightful. It's exactly what I was expecting. Getting to understand the back end thinking of products, how products come into fruition. So today has been excellent.
Okay. I believe everyone also have the same, or you have a different feedback to what you just said. Most times I don't even appreciate compliment anymore. So when people give me compliment, I'm always looking behind the scene. Why is this person telling me this? Is this to just make me get myself off guard and make me look like, oh, you're just doing everything, continue, then I shoot myself on the foot. So I take compliments with just a grain of salt. So you guys should try drop your names in the WhatsApp group. That would be used to group you guys, and this would also enhance team collaboration. Yeah, doing. Yeah, we can go ahead.
Yes, even sir.
Good evening.
First of all, the classes have been really, really amazing so far.
Thank you.
Just wanted to ask that. Okay, so I wanted to like ask that what really goes on in the mind of actual project managers, like those that are already project managers. Is it like a group of people come together to like identify a problem, or it is just a one person thing and then the person like brings it to the team for them to like you know brainstorm and all of that? Like, how does it actually work? Like this problem identification stage now, is it that it's just a one man thing, or like a group of people come together and then identify a specific problem? And yeah, that's my question.
All right. First of all, it's product, not project, and you should be penalized for saying project after the class of that differentiates project and product.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Product rather, please. I'm sorry.
All right. So it's for a product manager, most times it depends on the organization you are working with. You could have senior product managers, you have general product manager, you have a product head. So most times in a structured system, you could be assigned to identify such problem, to look into, oh, we are having this thing, you look into this problem. While in a small section, it could be a team of 2, 3 product managers brainstorming ideas on it. So it could either be just you, or it could be group in team.
Okay.
So
Okay.
when you are grouping team, just like the assignment which has been structured to enhance team collaboration, when you are communicating with other product managers, you guys can rub in minds to come up with a single product, identify a single solution, and also answer the same question to that single product.
All right. All right. I've gotten it now. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Who else has another question? Any question? The link to today's slide has been dropped in the group. You all can go through it for those who would want to make use of the slide as well. Any question? Okay. If there are no questions, I think our time is up. It was nice having this conversation with you guys today. And I believe from today's class, we've been able to see and think differently, which has been a problem towards understanding how to identify problems and the key solutions behind the scene. So tomorrow we'll talk about product defining the product. You know, this week's curriculum, just like I said, the curriculum has been updated. For this week, we're based on product thinking and definition. So how do you define the product, the problem you've identified? So that's what we'll be talking about tomorrow and the frameworks we'll be using to do that. So with that being said, I wish you all a wonderful evening. See you guys tomorrow.